Hey friends, welcome back. Now we are going to continue our MERN stack series. This is our e-commerce project. And yes, my apology, I'm uploading this video a little late. Lots of people asking in the comment section like when I'm going to complete this project. So that thing, I actually don't know when I'm going to complete this project, but I will try to complete it as soon as possible. And the problem is I'm going through like a hard schedule of my work hour of my office work and not getting lots of time to create the videos. So once things will be normal, then I will keep creating the videos as quickly as possible, as many as videos I can create. Okay, so let's start and continue our project. And this is what we have over here. So yeah, I have removed a couple of categories and what we have created in the previous video. So we have added these two buttons, edit, we'll have a form like update categories, and there or here we can show the expanded or checked categories and all of the values in the form, right? So we can update it. For example, let's check the sports, edit, and you can see we have sports more and more and select categories. So we have created this form, right? So this was a challenging task, and if you think so, let me know in the comment section. Okay, so what is your thought? And let's select this one. Let's select all of them, and you can see we are going to get all of them, right? So here the expanded is electronics, and all the checked categories I have got here, so I can update it. So these all are in the form right now, and we cannot update it, right? We haven't created any API like that, so we can update multiple categories at the same time, right? We can also switch the parents. Let's say, for example, for the moment you want the Vivo needs to be in different parent, that you can also do the same thing. You can change the parent over here. For example, the Samsung, if you change it to the electronics, then Samsung will be direct child of electronics instead of mobile, right? So that's all we can do once we have the API, right? So we can update it. So first let's start creating the API, and this is our VS Code with all the projects. So this is our three different projects: admin application, Flipkart clone, and MERN backend. So here we are going to update on the backend. So actually we are going to create the API. Previously we have already added what we have added in the category. We have added the type, right? And for that we have also added the type over here, so we can mention what kind of category it is. It may be product, it may be page, or it may be the list of products, whatever. Okay, so let's create the API. Let's go to the controller, and here we have category.js, and here we have a couple of two APIs, right? So one for adding the categories, one for retrieving the categories, right? And let's remove the additional space which is not required, right? And over here also, okay, that's fine. Let's create the API first. So here we're going to create the API. We'll say exports dot we'll create update categories. So this is our controller function, update categories. We'll take the request response, sorry, and here we can update our categories, right? So first thing, we need to identify the request body. Let me give you the more clarity about it. Let's make a request. So we'll say here post request, and here we're going to say localhost colon 2000 forward slash API forward slash category forward slash update, right? So localhost 2000 API update category. Headers, we're going to have some headers for authentication, and this is a form, right? We are going to upload image also for in some cases, right? Not all the cases. So here we're going to have this type of form. So when I'm saying multiple, it means name is like iPhone, right? iPhone, and parent ID. Right here it is going to be some parent ID, let's say dash dash for now. Again, I'm going to repeat type is also, right? Type, it is going to be page. And then I'm going to, for the next item, I'm going to say again name, and it is going to be Samsung, right? And parent ID Parent ID is going to be some ID, don't know exactly. And again I'm going to say type, that is going to be over here, let's say product, right? So this is how we are going to update it, right? So it is going to be transformed into the array. I will show you here. So here we have something, right? We'll say response status, make the status 200, and JSON over here we are going to say body request dot body. Let's save this and see it. So let's send the request, and obviously I haven't created the route, so first needs to create the route to verify. Okay, so let's go controller, routes and category, and let's copy the first route actually. Okay, copy and paste over here, right? And let's remove the sign, so it will save our little time over here. And admin is also remove it, just to save the time. Then we will add, for sure we'll add. So here we are going to have upload single category image. Okay, and here we're going to have add category. Instead of add category, we're going to have update category, update categories, and that you have to import from the controller, right? So here you can see already imported. So here we're going to have category image, and here you can see it is for the single file, right? So to handle the single file, it is okay for the single file, but in case of multiple uploads, you have to make this an array, upload dot array, and then category image will be as it is, right? Now let's save this, and now let's go to the postman, and here you are going to say, okay, let's send the request, and again something wrong. So that's a post request category. Okay, that should be create. Okay, that's a category / update, send the request, and you can see we have got an array. So first we have got body, right? Then we have got an array with the name like iPhone and Samsung. Then we have got parent ID / type is page and product. So now you know how we are going to update the items, right? So basically we need to write a loop to iterate through the items. So over here, we'll say simply, first thing we are going to check if request, first thing let's get the name const, and we'll see we'll say request dot body, and here we're going to say name, right? And if some condition, and then else. So here we are going to check, like if it is an array, then we are going to iterate through it. If it is a single item, then we are not going to iterate through it, then it is going to be a simple object. Okay, so after getting the body name, we are simply checking it is an instance of array or not. So for that we'll say name instance of array. If it is an instance of array, then we are going to say it's a loop, it's an array, so we need to iterate through the body, right? So you can say for loop let I equals to 0, and name, so name is enough to iterate through it, because we just want to know the length of the array, and whatever it is, name, type, parent ID, everything will have the same length, so we can use name because it's totally fine, right? So here we're going to say I less than a name dot length, and I plus plus, right? And inside this we are going to check, we are going to get the items, right? So const will say from the request body, request dot body, and actually you can take it from here also. So we'll say name, parent ID, and then you can say that type, right? And we don't need right here. So name, parent ID, and type, and here you can say you can iterate through it. So for that we are going to say, so here we also need to check sometimes like we are going to update a category which has no parent, right? So parent might be an empty string. So we'll say parent id equals to empty string. If it is empty string, then it is going to be a different thing. So for that, we are going to create a variable like const and category equals to be an object. And in this object, for sure, we're going to have name, right? So we'll say name and hi. So that is going to be the first element. Then we are going to have type, right? Here we're going to say type, that is I again. And if the parent id is not empty, so if it's not an empty string, then we're going to say the category dot parent id equals to, you will say parent id is going to be this one, right? Straight through it. And that's it. Next we are going to update it. So we'll say category, so we'll category dot find find one and update, right? We're going to update based on the id, right? So that's important thing. Also we are going to have here id, right? So we'll say underscore id, that is also an array. So find one and update, and here we have to pass the condition as the first argument. So we'll say underscore id. So this is going to be like underscore id and then value of the id, right? Next we are going to put the property itself, like a category. That's what we are going to update. So it will update all the required categories, whatever we want to update, right? So we want to update name, type, and the parent id. Rest will be as it is. Next what we are will return the new object, like whatever we have updated, right, instead of the old one. So it will allow us to return the new item. Next here we'll say const, and after the update here we're going to say const, and we will store the result. So for that we have to make this async function, right? And here we're going to say updated category equals to this one, right? And here we'll use await. So it will update the categories and will create a array again. Okay, so here we'll say const updated categories equals to an empty array. So here we'll get the updated result, we'll push that into the array, right? So we can count it, how many are updated. Updated categories dot push, we'll say updated category. Okay, and after that, once it is completed, then we'll return the response, return res dot status. So we have updated something, right? We're going to say 201, and we'll say the JSON response, and it is going to be updated categories, right? So this is going to be an array. So this is case for the when we are going to upload multiple. Next we are going to deal with the single items. For example, there is no array, we have got an object instead of an array. So we'll simply get the items, we'll create const, we'll create the category equals to object, sorry, we'll say over here const, and we already have the items right over here. So if it is not an array, then we'll simply say so name and type. Next we are just going to do the same thing. So we'll say if parent id not equals to empty, then we'll simply say, right, we'll say the category dot parent id equals to parent id, and then we'll use this function, copy and paste over here. Right, so category dot find one and update, we already have underscore id, we have the category, right? And here you can say the category, and we have new true, so it will return the updated category, and const updated category. So instead of showing const updated category, okay, that is fine. So let's remove this line, and here we're going to say return res dot status, that is going to be the 201 JSON, and here we'll say updated category instead of updated categories. Okay, now let's save this. Now let's test this function, it's working or not. Now let's save this function, and now let's test this out. So we already have the API. Let's copy. Okay, before that, let's go to the application. So here we have, and we already have the form. Let's go to the application, right? So we'll go category routes, and let's go to the admin app src, and we'll find the category, or we'll go to the actions first, and here we have category actions. So here we are getting all the categories, and here we are creating the categories. We'll write one more function to update the categories. Okay, let's copy this add category and paste over here. Replace the name. We'll say update categories, right? We'll say update categories. Then form will take, and post request, instead of create we'll say update, right? And then here we'll say form, and instead of dispatch, let's remove. We are not going to dispatch anything because it is going to be difficult to update like this. We'll save, and we'll just console the response for now. Okay, we'll say console.log, we'll get res, that's it. In both the cases we are going to console the response. Okay, let's verify it. So also we need to remove this dispatch add categories, right? Okay, we haven't created any constants yet. Save it, and let's go to the page. Where is the containers category index.js? Now we are going to create the form for update categories. We already have the form, right? So we have to create the same like we have created for the one where we can update the categories. So let me show you where we have this one, right? Form append. We have to create a form like this. So first let's minimize the code a little bit, or let's make it more modular so it will be more readable, right? So here we have the model where we are trying to render the form, right? Render the model. So instead of writing over here, let's cut it out from here, right? So this is too big, and let's cut it out from here, and let's create a function, right? So let's create a function before handle categories and all. Okay, let's create a function. Const, I will say render update categories model, and here I say return. Here we are going to return the JSX, right? And let's remove all the additional space. And why we have this error? Okay, let's save this. We'll take this render update categories model downward, and we'll render over here. Right, likewise we are going to take this out also because it's unfair with this form, right? And let's create one more. Const render add category model. Save this, and here we're going to say render add category model, right? So this is second model. What else we can remove from here? So tree we have, that's okay. This is kind of much cooler, right? Remove the additional space. So where exactly when exactly we can update? So basically, like handle close is binded with the save button. If you click on edit, so here we have save changes, and there we are doing the making it false, so we can close the model, right? So here we can write a function, and we can also handle the model over here. So let's cut it from here, right? Control Z. Okay, let's cut it from here, and let's give it create a function, like we'll say update categories form, right? Update categories form, and here we'll create a function after before this, say const, we'll say so here we create a function const, will say update update. Let's copy this, right? And we'll say set update category model to be a false. Now let's test this, oh, it's working or not. So I'll say category save changes, right? So here we are able to save it, right? We're doing the save changes. So here we're going to create the form. So we'll say const form equals to new form data, right? And we'll check first for the expanded categories. So we'll say expanded array dot for each, and here we can say im comma index, and here we'll run it. So we'll say form dot append, create a name that is for the API, right? The form name will be like what is it, item dot name, and I exactly don't remember the names and all, so let's go and check it. So here we're gonna console log that is a different thing. And actually you can check here like what we have. So we have name, we have parent ID, we have category image, right? And where we are handling it, edit, and you can see we have checked array, we have expanded array, and we have expanded array, right? This one we want. So we have value dot name, value dot parent ID, value dot value, right? So item dot value, right? So value is actually the ID of the item. So for that, okay, let's go to the code editor, and where is that? So here we have first, let's start with underscore ID, that's more better, underscore ID, and here we're going to say item dot value. That's actually the item ID what we are going to update. So here you can match it. So here we have value, that is the electronics ID, and next we have form dot append, next we have name, and here you can say item dot name, right? And form dot append, right? And here we're going to have parent ID. So parent ID, and we are going to check, like here in this case parent ID is undefined, right? So we'll simply see parent ID exists or not. Parent ID if it is undefined, then it's okay, otherwise it will be parent ID. And in case of undefined, it is going to be an empty string, right? As we have written the condition, if parent ID is empty, then don't include it, right? And we are not handling image right now, we'll handle it. So we'll add also like checked array dot for each, or basically you can copy this one, copy and paste over here, and underscore ID is totally fine. Instead of expanded, we're going to say checked array, checked, checked array, and here item index is fine, underscore ID, name, parent ID. Let's close this and semicolon ends with. Now let's take the dispatch function and dispatch. So here we're going to include the action. So where is that? So from the action, let's add the action. So here we have add category, here we have get all category, right? And here we are going to have update categories, right? And let's go to the update categories. Here we're going to say update categories, and we need the form, right? Update category, and we need the form. So it will take the form, pass it to the action, and it will come over here. We'll make a post request, update form status 200 or whatever it is. Now let's go and check this working or not. Parent ID is not defined. Okay, that's very nice. Parent ID is not defined. So it's actually, it should be item.parent ID, right? And here it is going to be item.parent ID, and here also item.parent ID, and here also item.parent. Let's save this. Let's go and check it out. Yeah, we got. And let's clear the console, and now let's check the, let's start with the smaller one. So here we already have items like we already added the products based on these categories, so we don't want to mess with that. So let's start with this MERN because we don't have anything related to this. Okay, we have got a date and we have got nothing. Let's execute the MERN and let's check the bottom. And here you can see the expanded is MERN and the checked categories is bottomware. Let's update the bottomware's name 1 to 3. Let's clear the console. Let's save changes and let's see the network. And we made the request 201. We have got update category null and one is pending. Why it is 2 times? So here you can verify the thing. Like we have got ID of the category MERN parent ID. Here we have got ID bottomware parent ID. Check the API from the terminal, like is there anything wrong? So here we have got something like what, let's minimize this one. And here we have got type error, cannot read property 0 of undefined. So there are some issues. Async function without a catch, that is the warning. Oh man, let's take this out. Let's take this return statement out and let's paste over here. That's one thing, because we are iterating through the loop, right? We are iterating, and inside the loop if I will return, then it will block the loop instead of completing the statements. That's one thing I found, but where exactly I0 I name.length, that is fine. Also we need to add I over here, parent ID, because this is an array, right? And we are comparing array with something with an empty string. Let's save, edit, let's clear the console, save changes. It is not successful yet. Carrier is 7527. Here is the error. On line number 75. Okay boy, let's let's comment this for now, and over here we'll say request dot body save. Now let's make a edit and save changes. Update 200 successful, and we have got name, we have got parent ID, we have got underscore ID, right? So this is working, right? We have got name, that is 2, parent ID is 2, index, so it is working, right? And we are looping through it. So we are saying name.length I plus plus, and over here we're closing it. Oh, problem. Here you can see we have name, parent ID, underscore ID, but not type, right? So we must need to add that type, because we are trying to add type, and that's what is going to be undefined. Cannot read the property 0 of undefined. That's the message on line 75. You can see this is the 75 and there's an error. So yeah, that's what we have to update. So let's go and let's save this, and let's go to update categories, category action routes index.js, and here we have to specify the type. Form.type, we'll say form.append type is going to be item.type, and I'll just copy this line, so it's going to be empty for the most cases. Form.type, right? Now let's go to the backend code one more time, and let's see everything is cool. So let's remove this console, let's remove this console also, save this, let's go back and let's reload this, and let's edit. Okay, sorry, we have to check something. Check the MERN and edit. Let's save it, and again we have got update 201, and here we have got all the updated record, right? We have got name. Okay, it should be uploaded, right? Oh, sorry, it should be updated request instead of so it is going to be updated categories, right? Save, and now let's reload this. Oh, that is okay, you are not reloading, that is fine. So let's go and let's, oh my god, I messed with that. Where is my data, man? So actually I messed with it, and I don't want to do it again, otherwise I will lost all my kinetic electronics, right? This is very tough decision, and I just figured out the problem is here I've written underscore ID. Okay, what was in my mind? I was thinking underscore ID is just an ID, but it is not an ID, it is an array, right? We are passing everything inside the loop, so it must be underscore ID and I, right? So you're going to take one of them, like whatever the category you want to update. We have multiple different IDs, right? We cannot make update based on single ID. So for each item we have an ID, and we have to check like that. Okay, that's I don't want to do that again. Update category, and okay, here we have name, and here we have type. Here we're checking if parent exists, then we'll have to improve it. Okay, let's save this, and now let's verify it. So let's go to the controller, save, right? And let's this time, oh please, sportsbook, edit, add 1 2 3, and this is a single item, right? So it is going to not work. So let's first add something, then it will be better, because otherwise I will mess things, right? Let's add a new category, cat1, and this is going to be a parent. Save changes, and it worked. Okay, it is getting failed. I believe my token is expired. Let's go to the network tab, reload the data, add category cat1, and let's make a save change. And creed, we have got 500, that's with JW expired. We have to fix this solution very soon, right? So let's sign out first and let's log in again. @webscript.info password. Okay, now let's submit. Got the categories, reload the application. Let's go to the category, and now let's add the category, new category. Okay, so we'll say cat1 and selected no, it is not going to be anything, it's parents. Okay, so we'll say category, and we have got a new category, cat1. Now let's add more, cat2. So all cats are here. So cat1, cat2. Now let's add a children one also. So we'll say subcat1. Okay, make the parent cat1. Now let's save changes, and you can see we have got cat1, subcat1. Now let's edit this one. Edit. We have got cat1, cat2. Let's make it 2. This one also 2. And let's clear the console. Let's save the changes. And here we have update. And hopefully it is worked this time, and we have got the record, right? So you can see we have updated cat1, 2. We have the slug is the same because we haven't updated the slug. And here we have the category cat sub1, 2. So both worked. And if you refresh this application, you can see the change, right? So you can see we have subcat cat1, 2, subcat1, 2. This is working well, right? So this is working. We have got the new data, right? And just I want to improve a little bit in the action of categories because I already messed a few things over there. So you can go and check there. You can go to the category action. Okay, you have to find the category action. So here we have category action, and no, not action, it's reducer, right? So reducer, and here we have category.reducer, and here we are building the new categories after updating after creating a new categories, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm making a call which is unnecessary, right? We don't need to make the call. So here we are going to improve our code. Here we don't need to make this recursive call over here because we are going to push new categories over here, and this is the last thing we want to do, right? So instead of calling it, I'm just going to create another category object first. Let's copy this existing one, and let's create a cons. We'll say a new category equals to this one, right? Okay, let's check the object. So this is a new category we have just created, and the children will be, obviously it's a new category, then children will be an empty array. And over here let's remove everything. This one also, we'll just check the length. If length is greater than 0, okay, if length is greater than 0, then we'll push the new category in the array, right? So we'll take a new array, we'll spread the existing array, cat dot children. So this is an existing array will be spreaded, and we'll add a new, that is we just created new category. In the else case, we are going to just push the new category because the children is actually length is not greater than 0, means there is a no children. We'll create a new array and we'll put the new category, right? This code is much simpler, right? We don't need a semicolon over here. So let's remove and else, let's save. Okay, what I've done wrong, that is over here. Okay, that's the missing semicolon, missing parenthesis for this push, right? So this is going to look like this. Save this, and this is going to work exactly same like I have already tested it. So let's go and check over here. Let's reload the application. Let's try to add something. So over here let's add cat 2 under the cat subcategory. Let's subcat 2 under the category 2, and now let's save changes, and you can see we have got a symbol over here, so it means something added. Now what we have to do after updating, we have to make the changes, right? So we are going to call API, that is get all categories. So for example cat 2 3 cat 2 2, like save changes, and we didn't get the immediate change over here. Let's reload and you can see the change. So according to that, we are going to use one existing API which we have already created. So let's go to the code over here. So where is the code actually? Not the controller. Let's find the product.js. Okay, that's the middleware. So MERN admin application, source, action, category action. So here we have update categories, right? And if status 201, it means it is a successful response, and we will fetch the categories again, right? So here what we are going to do, just return something like true. So this is a function we are calling update categories. If it will return true, this is an asynchronous function, and dispatch will return a promise. So just go to the page and you can find out. So where is the page? Find out the page, containers, category, index.js. And here, instead of doing this, we can do 10. We can see the result, right? If it is a successful, then we'll get a true. If a result, if that is true, then we'll dispatch another action, that is get all category, which is already over here. You can see get all category, we have already imported over here, right? That's the action we have created, and now we are using it. Okay, so let's go and check this. So let's go and let's reload the application. So here we have cat 22, right? And let's make this change in the subcat. So let's edit, and you can add something over here, right? Subcat, let's save changes, and you can see the change over here, right? That's the immediate change. So after the update, we have just called the get call category to update the data. We are not dispatching an action and modifying the existing array, because it's kind of expensive, too much recursive call, and also the chance like there are other admins also using the same system, so they will also create the new categories. So with this system, you can get all updated record, right? So guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.